What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Football Game Show brought to you by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-hosts and boys, Joey Wright and John Luke. And joining us today, we have a very special guest coming back on the Fantasy Football Game Show, the senior editor over at footballdiehards.com, the football diehard himself, host of the pre-gaming show on SiriusXM on Sundays. Our friend Bob Harris is here with us.
Now here for the Eagle Screams all around. Thank you, gentlemen, for the invitation. It's lustrous to be here. I'm just thinking, I don't know that I've ever played this game. Have I played this game before?
Oh, then you have not lived, Bob Harris.
If our chat historians
Maybe I have
in the chat with some records of this game, because we do have our.
Maybe I have. Maybe I haven't. I just don't remember. It's entirely possible. I'm quite old.
Bob, we'll have to pull up the FYF archives and find the answer to that question because it is written somewhere, and we will make sure we get that for you. But this is our OG game.
I think we remember just every single game we ever do, Bob.
I certainly don't. So, no, I don't expect you to either.
We got some people in the chat hyped to have Bob on here today. Swamp down here with the Who Dat. What's up, Swamp? Dustin stopping by with the Let's Go. Miss these games. Hashtag Team Joey.
Totally unintentional. My shirt just shows the W, so I feel like we know what's coming today.
W. Where you already got the W on your chest. You only have room for L's from here on out. Yeah, Joey, just scoot it over a little bit. Right before the W.
Oh, wait. Yeah, the L. There we go.
We got Jay in here with the Howdy Ho, FYF Arenos. What's up, Jay?
What up?
Dane stopping by saying, hello, all. Hope everyone is having a kick-ass Thursday.
What up, Dane?
I am now.
Bob's your Thursday kick-ass so far? Or is it not?
Somebody's ass is getting kicked. It might be mine, but it's there's definitely kicking an ass and going on.
We got some Eagle Screams in the chat. I was nervous, JL, that whenever I saw you go in for the Eagle Scream, that Bob was just going to sign off immediately. That he only showed up for the Eagle Scream the second he got one, he was out of here.
No, I'm here. You know, I got the payoff. I'm sticking around.
I should have Eagle teased him.
Eagle teased 100%. That's what the Eagles offense has been doing most of this year.
Joey does at the DMs. That's the
post those pictures of his feet. It's not so generous in the DMs.
We got our friend Swamp stopping by as well. I see Mr. Scampers down here saying good afternoon, FIF fam, and Mr. Bob Harris and Dave with some more Eagle Screams in the chat for us. Swamp had a question before we get into our game of poll perception today. Wants to know in his Smash League, so this is important. It's in his competitive Super Smash Brothers League. Start 4 and half PPR. AJ Brown, Chris Godwin, T. Higgins, Nico Collins, Jacoby Myers, and Josh Downs. So 6 players here. We need to start 4. Bob, are there names that jump out at you as must start?
Well, I mean, this is an odd question. It should be like, you know, if I told you not to play AJ Brown, you should like come through the screen and beat me like a dog. Come on. Not that I beat dogs.
Yeah, what
like
the hell?
cats. I just like cats. I'm sorry. It's just
Whoa.
so taking AJ Brown is, you know, the obvious must play. I'm probably playing Josh Downs every week at this point, just based on the volume. In between there, Higgins had a decent game. I don't know. I'm probably gonna. I might consider sitting Myers, just not knowing how things are going to play out for the Raiders with Aiden O'Connell and a quarterback, a new coach. I mean, it could go really good. Right, it could go really good. They're against Jay. Don't listen. A horrible franchise. And the Giants, but you know, it just like it could go either way. Like I'm hopeful for Josh Jacobs in this game, less so for the passing attack.
If you had worse options or outside of Myers, I'd say, yeah, go ahead and roll that dice. I just don't think they need to, given these other options here.
Joey,
they've got 3. They've got 3 slam dunks in my opinion.
Yeah, Godwin against Houston isn't easy, right? So you know, I mean, that's a fairly tough matchup as well.
Sure.
So.
Man, you got some good options here, and I'm with you guys. If you don't have to start Myers this week, don't. This isn't a don't start Myers, bench him in all scenarios kind of thing. I think you can, given his role in this team so far, but you got a good team there, Swamp. Dame says she loves our faces here in the chat. What's up? And then also Dustin coming in saying Bob Harris is playing his 9th game today. He's 3-4-1, and not only have you played pole perception, Bob, but you have 1 pole perception.
Oh, it was just a brag.
Although I'm not surprised that I've
he remembered
one. I'm a little surprised that I played.
So can
I'm not sure how it
look
goes.
up if I've ever even played this game before, man.
Yeah.
If someone could just find out if I've played.
Oh, look, I won. You're gonna have to explain the rules because I don't remember that game.
I am going to explain the rules. We're going to get into that ever so briefly here. Before we do that, though, a couple reminders. First and foremost, if you're not following our guest Bob, go and remedy that right now. You can find him on Twitter at @footballdieHard. It's right there below his wildly handsome face on the screen and in the description to this YouTube video. And if you're watching on our YouTube channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's the easiest way to show your support for what we're doing over here. And JL will glue one sequin to his forehead with Gorilla Glue for every 100 likes on this video that we get this week. So
is a sequin a bird, and is it big?
Yeah, a sequin it's related to the penguin.
Okay. Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right. Do you not know what a sequin is?
I agree.
He's
I will Gorilla Glue a bunch of big birds to myself for every like and follow we get.
Thank you, guys. After you do that, come on back here and enjoy watching.
Well, Simon, I'm going to cut you off. JL, what I need you to do for me is you're an artist. You've drawn a beautiful ham for us before. I need you to draw me what you think of the sequin, the bird, a sequin looks like.
All right,
if
you
could
for
me. Okay.
Thank you.
Let us
Sorry,
know whenever
Simon.
you're finished, JL. No.
Yeah.
Joey, we got to sometimes hit the important things, and I just brush right
Very
over.
important.
Very important that we find out what JL thinks a sequin is here. Well, guys, we brought Bob here today to play a game that we call Poll Perception. The game tests our contestants' understanding of the public perception of the fantasy football landscape. So I've got 7 polls that I found online before the show started today. They're going to ask questions about the NFL, about fantasy football, and you guys are going to be responsible for guessing the results. So you'll go in turn order, and on your turn, I will propose a poll to you, something along the lines of like, what percentage of people would prefer side A, DeAndre Hopkins, over side B, Saquon Barkley, in redraft? You'll give me a percentage, say 60%. Okay. The closer you are, the more points you're going to get. Up to 10 if you are exactly right. 1 if you are 15 away, and it scales up within there. Now, your contestants are going to have opportunities to score points before I reveal the answer there. If it was not your turn, you are going to guess whether the actual answer, the actual percentage of people that chose side A in this poll is over or under the line set by your opponent. So on the previous one, 60% of people said DeAndre Hopkins over Saquon Barkley. Bob, if you were then guessing the over-under and you think 70% chose DeAndre Hopkins, you would say over. If you think it was 40%, you would say under. Get that right, you're going to get 2 points. We will go like this through 2 full rounds, 6 polls until we get to our 7th and final poll where there's no more over-under nonsense. Everybody needs a piece of paper and a pen or pencil or a cell phone. Now you remember this game. It's the one where I forget to tell you to bring pen and paper.
So just first, let me stipulate. Present company excluded. Everybody in the chat, I'm not a fan of the public.
The public.
Just saying.
Well, Bob, you don't have to like them. Maybe knowing your enemy here, knowing you're prepared.
I do like the public. That was totally a lie.
Guys, we're going to go like this. In the 7th and final poll, everyone's just going to write a number. Whoever is the closest will get those points. And JL has drawn for us a beautiful sequin. I like.
Is that right?
It's exactly right. Size and everything. That's almost to scale what a sequin is.
Sometimes I scare myself with how talented I am.
And then got to glue a bunch of this to your forehead.
That's why Peter gets so up in arms about all the sequin dresses at the Met Gala.
Peter?
Mm-hmm.
Every single time. We got one more question in here, guys, before we get started with our next game. Cross in here wants to know, would you guys trade Amon-Ra, Bijan, and Jake Elliott for Saquon, Jamar Chase, and Justin Tucker? Bob, a little kicker action thrown in here to sweeten the deal. Are you making this trade, or are you staying put with Amon-Ra, Bijan, and Jake Elliott?
I'd probably do this. I mean, I don't think you have to. It's a little bit of a rearrangement of the furniture, it seems, but I wouldn't mind being on the Jamar side of this deal as the Bengals trajectory looks delightful, and Bijan's usage seems dicey. Saquon's, on the other hand, seems less dicey.
Joe, you in agreement here? It sounds like.
Yeah, this is the kind of trade, like, it's so even that I'm like, who's my favorite player in this trade? And for me, it's Jamar Chase, so I'm going to pick the Jamar Chase side because it's just, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anything that moves me further away from Arthur Smith is probably
not a bad idea at this point.
And by the way, the kicker portion of that deal probably works in. I mean, like, isn't Tucker like the best of everything? I don't know.
Did you guys see the clip of someone on ESPN? I wish I could remember whose name it was, trying to say it brings back memories of Justin Tucker banging a 60-yarder off
Tom Pelissero,
but he says banging a 60-year-old live on ESPN. He said, brings back of Justin Tucker banging a 60-year-old.
Like Garofalo just puts his head in his hands.
That's my age.
You got to look that. You got to look that clip up. It's a pretty because their faces both
Tom
immediately.
Pelissero wants to bang you, Bob.
It was not. Well, who doesn't?
Fair.
Yeah, I know. Tom's been blowing me up all day. We got a couple more questions in here, and a reminder to everybody watching: we're going to be answering questions throughout the show today, but live right after this, Joey and I will be live for Fantasy Football Office Hours, where all we're doing is answering your questions. So if we don't get to yours in between rounds of poll perception, stick around on the Front Yard Fantasy YouTube channel. We'll hit each and every one of your questions. Before we get in, though, to the game, Derek had a question for us. 10-team, half PPR, 2 flex. Wants to know, should he send Olave and Mostert for Justin Jefferson and Aaron Jones? He's 6-2, and his other running backs are Eckler and Kamara. He's got Lamb, McLaurin, Hollywood, Palmer, and Osborne at wide receiver. So, JL, would you be sending Chris Olave and Raheem Mostert away for Justin Jefferson and Aaron Jones?
Yeah, I think I can see the logic in that trade. You're consolidating there, getting the upgrade for Justin Jefferson for when he comes back in a 10-team league. That strategy makes more sense. So yeah, I don't hate this at all. You have plenty of depth at wide receiver to make this move.
Bob, how are you feeling? Before the show started, we were talking about Joey's big trade, and you had some trepidation about Justin Jefferson's value right now. Does that come into play when you're looking at a trade like this?
To me, that's the concern. Like, what am I getting in Justin Jefferson? Am I actually getting Justin Jefferson right now? We think he's coming back. There's been no negative reporting. What we did here is after the 4 weeks, or as soon as he's eligible to come off, he'll get imaged again, get another scan, and then they'll make the decision. Also, when he returns, his quarterback situation will have changed and noticeably from his previous iteration. So, I would have those concerns, like not knowing for sure, but. And looking at the pieces, if you think this is a swing for the fence play and you have high expectations for Justin Jefferson, if you expect him to, truly be Justin Jefferson, this is a no-brainer. I guess that's just the deciding point for me. I think Olave and Mostert are pretty good pieces to have laying around as depth and or starters.
We got breaking Matt Canada news coming in the chat from Dustin. He will be calling plays from the sideline, not the booth.
Matt Canada, Look at him go. I think that's going to make a huge difference.
I agree. I agree. And I 100%
it'll be easier to boo him.
I believe Matt Canada fully when he says that was not his burner account defending Matt Canada relentlessly online.
That was my burner account.
You're a big Matt Canada fan?
No, my burner account is.
Of course.
I'm different personalities. I'm just out there trolling.
I like the idea that your burner account's just things you don't believe in
character.
At all. It's like the game Second Life, but you just have another Twitter account that you go on and play as. One more question in here before we get started. Our friend Deborah is stopping by with the
Good to
I'm
see
seeing
you.
the pirate flags. Had a question for us. So should I trade Justin Jefferson, DeAndre Hopkins, Sam Laporta, and Aaron Jones? This sounds like a very familiar trade.
Very familiar trade.
Alvin Kamara, Chris Godwin, Jake Ferguson, and a throwaway.
Let's just say that throwaway is possibly Cortland Sutton.
That's a big package. That's a big package.
Very big package.
I think someone from Front Yard Fantasy is on the other side of this trade. I believe this is a trade with our very own Joey Wright. Bob, you, if I remember correctly, are on the non-Justin Jefferson side here, right? You would like the Kamara Godwin side.
I'm on the Kamara Godwin Ferguson side. If you just sitting here again, if I had more certainty about Justin Jefferson and what he was going to look like, and I'm not saying he's very good. I'll acknowledge, and maybe he's still good with Jaron Hall or Joshua Dobbs at quarterback.
Of you, Bob.
All right, I'm going out on a limb here, but also Alvin Kamara is very good and gets super high volume, and the number of running backs getting that level of volume on a weekly basis is pretty hard to come by. And a lot of it comes through the passing game, which opens him up to, at some point, some nice scoring. So I think Godwin's serviceable. He and D-Hop, Laporta, definitely a huge upgrade. But, is JJ having a top 5 wide receiver, top 3 wide receiver versus having a top 3 running back? I don't know. The running back's a little narrower field for me. I'm probably on the Kamara Godwin Ferguson side.
John Luke, I'm curious where you land on this one, because you do tend to be risk averse sometimes, but there's a lot of upside on that left side as well that I know you've been pining for. You've been a Laporta lover the past couple of weeks.
This is not dynasty. I'll take the value on the Kamara side. I'm with Bob completely. That risk is enough to shift it.
Joey,
around Justin Jefferson, I should say.
I think I'm fine on the other side with Justin Jefferson because Sam Laporta is the piece that pushes it over the top for me, because I think he might, by the end of the season, we might be talking about Sam Laporta a tier up with those top tier tight end guys, with the Travis Kelce,
I think so.
Andrews, and I think that's a big step over Ferguson. So I'll take the JJ risk because I view the tight end upgrade as huge.
And a note to the Detroit Lions, you cannot buy a customized Laporta jersey on your website right now. You have to manually input it. It's not with the other players. Let's fix that, Detroit Lions. I am one of your biggest supporters as a Buccaneer fan. Let's get that working right.
Someone call Josh Dobbs and get him on the case, because Dobbs figured it out for the Cardinals. He can figure it out for Sam.
Bring it to the public.
Did the Cardinals know they were sending Dobbs away, and that's why he wasn't in the system? Is that what was going on there?
They had that trade in the
Someone's like, I'm not doing that way.
Kyler Murray's back at practice. Get that Dobbs jersey out of our system. All right, well, guys, we are going to get into our game of poll perception. We'll keep answering these questions throughout the show today. The order of today's game, predetermined before we started, is going to be Joey, Bob, then John Luke. So, Joey, you are up first, followed by our friend Bob Harris, and then John Luke Garofalo, last but not least. If I remember correctly, third is the one with the hairy chest.
Correct.
All right, well, Joey, you are first, which means you are the worst, and I need validation that you're ready for your first poll. You ready to get started?
Simon, I've never been more ready for a poll on September or November 2nd than I am in this moment. Let's please give me deliver the poll.
Reminder to everybody in the chat, play along. Throw your guesses in there. If you're right, we'll shout you out. If you're wrong, we will mock you endlessly. And if it's just an average guess, we'll say it once and never think about it again. Joey, here is your first poll. Who starts at quarterback week 1 of the 2024 NFL season for the Tennessee Titans? Side A, Will Levis. Side B, literally anyone else. What percentage of people said side A, Will Levis?
Will Levis threw 4 touchdowns last week. It was very exciting. Will he do anything near that tonight? I don't know. I'm excited for the game, though, tonight. But that's not what this question is. I'm stalling. I think Will Levis is going to start for the Titans next season. So I think it'll be leaning on side A. I'm going to play it safe and go 66%.
66% on side A?
Yeah.
Okay, Bob, do you think the actual percentage of people who think Will Levis is going to be the starter for Tennessee next season is over or under Joey's 2/3 guess of 66%?
2 things. Question first. When was this poll taken?
This poll was taken within the last 24 hours.
Second thing, poll within a poll. Should I have eaten an entire space cake or just half a space cake before I did that?
1.5, actually.
Yeah. Okay, I'm good. Less than 66.
Under 66% from Bob Harris. Less than. My apologies. John Luke, less than, under, over, or more than Joey's guess of 66%.
Oh boy, I wrote down 68% when I was before Joey had said any numbers. I'll take the over still.
Okay, JL staying true to his number. Joey split the room. We got some answers in the chat. Dustin coming in with the very important note of you can make 66 out of bananas. So that has to be the right answer. Mr. Scanvers in here with 69%. Dustin with 83%. Andrea coming in with 50. Cody says 77%. Albert with 54%. DeBoris says 67%. Well, the actual percentage of people that said Will Levis would start for the Tennessee Titans week 1 of the 2024 season was 87%. Joey, unfortunately, you were 21 percentage points away. Bob, unfortunately, you picked the less than. But JL, with your guess of over, you're going to be the only one scoring points on this one. I'm going to fight you by the end of this show, Bob. 2-0-0 for John Luke after that first poll. Bob, you look at this. You guessed the under. Does that mean you don't believe Will Levis is going to be the starter, or were you just guessing where you think the public lands?
Well, no, I guess I was sitting here thinking like a analyst and assuming that 4 touchdown game is going to be the outlier when all is said and done. And
what do you mean those are perfectly thrown balls I've ever seen?
Look, it is true that Will Levis can throw a football through a brick wall. It is also true that his footwork is lacking and that his decision-making isn't always great. Those passes were beautiful. Like, I'm hoping for the best. I hope he turns into a great thing. I'm gonna put some mayonnaise in my coffee tonight and
as you
eat
do
a banana
every
with the skin, as I do every night, and try and get more jacked up while I watch him. But like, I don't know if he's all that. And so I guess that's why I don't know that he's necessarily the guy. I don't know that the Titans thought he was necessarily the guy, considering they could have traded up a pick and grabbed him and got the 5th-year option on him. They're I don't know if they're completely sold, but it was a great first game, and I'm hoping for the best for this fine young man.
Let me ask you guys this. Who would win in an arm wrestling competition? Tyler Bajan's dad or Will Levis?
Tyler Bajan's dad. He's a world champion.
Right? Like, it's not even close.
4 touchdowns?
Tyler Bagent is
Tyson Bagent. Put some respect on his name.
The dad is Tyler.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
You guys put some respect on his mother trucking name.
Wow. Tyson.
World arm wrestling champion Tyler Bagent.
Speaking of mayonnaise and coffee, shout out Tara, our good friend Tara Roberts, for actually doing it. Like, a lot of us said we were going to, but Tara did it
on the video.
She went a step beyond disgusting. She put Miracle Whip in the coffee, which is grosser than mayonnaise. So kudos to Tara.
You guys ever watch Gary Nova play at Rutgers back in 2012, 13, 14? No, it's just like, I feel like that's where we're getting with Will Levis. Some weeks you'd watch him, you'd be like, Heisman winner, first pick overall. The balls that he's throwing, like, he could throw a ball through a brick wall as well. He had an arm like a cannon, and every once in a while, every pass would just land right where it went to. And then the next week, he'd throw 6 interceptions and look like he'd never seen a football field in his life. And I'm worried that's the Will Levis experience we're about to go on.
I think it might be.
All right. Jay wanted to know, what did Joey get from Taco Bell?
The same thing I get every time I go to Taco Bell, a number 6 chalupa meal. And if you could take the taco and substitute chicken for the beef and add sour cream, thank you very much.
All right. Well, guys, we're going to move into poll number 2. Bob, this one is yours.
Bob looks really confused.
Here is your next poll. Who would you rather roster rest of season? Side A is Devon Achane. Side B is Justin Jefferson. What percentage of people said side A, Devon Achane?
To hell with the people. Bob Harris would go 57% Achane.
57% on the Achane side. John Luke, do you think the actual answer is over or under Bob's guess at 57%? Under from JL. Joey, what about you?
I think it's under as well. I think Bob has a tremendous guess, though. I think JJ is going to win it slightly.
Okay. We got double unders from Joey and John Luke.
Less than.
Double less thans from Joey and John Luke. Some questions coming in the chat. Dylan wants to know if we're answering fantasy questions. We are. In between rounds of poll perception, we would be more than happy to. DeBoris thinks it is 21%.
Oh my God.
Dane coming in with 40%.
Oh no.
Scamper says 42. Andrea, more in line with you. What's up, Andrea? 60%. Jay with 11. Is that a
with high?
That's
high. 3.14, 2653587%. Albert with 36%. Cody, more in line with you though, Bob, coming in here with 66%. Well, the actual percentage of people that said they would choose Devon Achane over Justin Jefferson in this poll was 30%. Bob, unfortunately, that is 27 percentage points away, which is going to be no points, but 2 points to your opponents.
Oh.
The score is going to be 4-2.
I won this game last time. What the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
There's so much game left. Bob, you would prefer Devon Achane, though? You're not as worried about him coming back from injury?
No, I'm not as worried about him. And again, it's the pools available of talent or high-end talent available at the position. I'm not saying the public doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. Everyone loves Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is phenomenal. Also, I'd feel better about Justin Jefferson if I knew who his quarterback was going to be for certain. And also, if I knew for sure it wasn't going to be either Jaron Hall or Josh Dobbs, because I'm not sure those are the best guys.
I am not sure of those things either.
Come on down, Sean Mannion.
Oh boy, please no. Bob, what do you see from Devon Achane when you watch him play football? What stands out about him?
It is less him and it's more Mike McDaniel. His scheme is innovative and brilliant in that he's turning all these players. He's got this stable of high speed, dangerous open field runners, and he puts them in the open field. He's turning them all into glorified kick returners and letting them do their thing. And I think that's the key to the success has been the scheme. And so that's why I would lean in that direction and why I think Achane would be in for continued success, much like the other pieces in this offense generally are. It's fortuitous positioning and usage. And I mean, you can see the opposite, in some cases for other players who should be doing really well. I'll just bring up Tony Pollard, for example, and throw out the notion, like, Michael Gelkin was talking to me about this, and you see a change in play callers and the usage is different. It's way heavier usage. But last year, like nearly 5% of his touches he hit 19 miles an hour or faster. This year, it's less than 2%. It's like 1.7%. He's done it twice. And it's because of the usage. He's hammering it up the middle and getting different usage. You don't see that in Miami. So that's why I like Achane. Also, again, and I might be overplaying my fears because I tend to do that. I'm old and I'm fearful and worried about people sneaking up on me and things like that. But I don't have a great deal of faith in the quarterback situation. I think Kirk Cousins was ideally suited to maximizing the talents of Justin Jefferson. They were in simpatico. I don't know that he will be. And it is possible, right? Like he could still just come out with great guns and be Justin Jefferson. Also, I have heard that Achane is, on track to return quickly from his IR. And I have not heard the same, although I have not heard anything negative. I've just heard there's going to be further
absence
testing.
of data. Yeah.
Right. And then we have we could throw in the whole nother, like, I'll spin this one 3,000 ways if you give me an opportunity, and you are. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But like the whole contract issue, I mean, do they really want to, how eager is he going to be back on the field if they're not in contention? They kind of are now. But will they remain that way without a quarterback? So there you have it. I've run through all the permutations.
Yeah. All of the fears you have around Minnesota situation.
What's up, guys?
What's up? Eric in here had a question for us. I'm 7-1, have the Eagles defense. Do you ever stash a defensive team in planning for the playoff strength of schedule? Bob, what do you think about this strategy, stashing a defense for the playoffs here in week 9?
I would be looking at the schedules and seeing if there's any weaknesses I can exploit in those schedules, and if my defense is capable of exploiting them. I'm guessing, having great pass rushers is probably a pretty good thing, and not a great pass defense in particular is maybe a concern. So yeah, and depending on how the scoring system is, for sure, I would be looking into that.
Joey?
It's something I do closer to the playoffs. I think week 9 might be a little too soon, but when I go into the playoffs, I'll normally play 2 or 3 weeks ahead and say, okay, what are these matchups 2 weeks from now looking like? Let me grab that DST now and sit on them. Because once you're getting to the playoffs, you don't need to wait to see if something's going to happen with a Samaje P. Ryan, because apparently it's not going to happen this year. But, so you should probably drop him.
See, that's what separates Joey Wright from the Joey Wright, playing a little bit ahead.
Getting it in there. Let's see another question in here from our friend Cap. Says trade Jefferson and Goddard for Montgomery for Kelsey and Pollard. So lots of Jefferson trade questions in here. Joe, are you making this move?
Yeah, I want Kelsey. He's the best player in that trade. And yep, give me Kelsey. And I like Pollard a lot. I think he's got a good run ahead of him. Montgomery, we don't know when he's going to be back. Hopefully not for a very, very long time. So Jahmyr Gibbs can keep running the ball and having 30-point fantasy nights. I needed 65 points to beat someone on Monday, and I got it out of Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs. I was very happy.
Nailed it.
And then we've kind of gone over everything with Jefferson. I don't hate him, but
trade away your injured players. Get some superstars that are uninjured. I like it. Bob, Nino in here had a question for us. Wants to know, would you start Warren tonight versus Tennessee or Dubs on Sunday versus the Rams? What are you doing in this situation?
I would start Warren tonight versus Tennessee over Dubs versus the Rams. It seems like this offense that the Packers are fielding has been less than effective in recent weeks and might continue on that way. And by the way, Jaden Reed might be the guy to watch there if you're playing a wide receiver, running more routes, getting more work. I don't know. It just seems odd. We thought Dubs was going to be the guy, but Warren has outscored Najee Harris in every single game this year except one. And expecting more of the same, maybe with some it's hard to run against the Titans. So Najee's role might be a little more limited and Warren's might be a little more extensive.
Yeah,
I get in trouble every time I say that, Bob. Every time I remind JL that Jalen Warren has outscored Najee Harris in every game except for one this year, JL gets mad at me.
If you were here, I'd kick you onto the stage.
Dylan says somebody just moved Hurts and Olave for Burrow and Puka. Who wins that rest of season? Is it fairly close? John Luke, which side of this are you liking? Let's assume one quarterback.
Hurts and Burrow, pretty much a wash. Olave and Puka, I'd rather have Olave.
And I think I'd rather have Hurts a little bit over Burrow as well. So I'm on the Hurts Olave side. What about you, Bob?
I'm probably on that side as well.
All right. Looks fairly unanimous. And then Dylan had one more question for us, and we're going to get back into our game. So made a big move, traded Jerome Ford, Dallas Goedert, and Stephon Diggs for Travis Etienne, TJ Hawkinson, and Devonta Smith. A good move. Bob, looks like you like this one, or you're at least all right with it.
Yeah, I'm all right with it. I'm not against it. Again, Travis Etienne getting tons of volume. I hope he holds up under the workload because I think as long as he does, it doesn't change. That's been the most successful piece of that offense. Hawkinson, again, the same concerns with Justin Jefferson, a little bit quarterback. But like, I'm not big on Ford. Goddard, it's, the same problem with Goddard as there is with Devontae Smith is there's AJ Brown and another guy sometimes. And so it's kind of a wash there. I mean, the Diggs is a big piece. So I get it. It's basically Diggs for ETN. So I'm probably going to do that just because there's a shallower pool of high-end running backs.
And you already have Christian McCaffrey. The only running back with more touches than Christian McCaffrey this season is Travis Etienne on the ground. So you're getting the two running backs with the largest opportunity.
Shaheed, I love the rest of that receiving core as well.
Freaking beautiful, Dylan, going on down there. All right, well, John Luke, the last poll of round one. Are you ready for your first poll of this game?
Hit me.
We talked a little bit about this player a second ago, both of them, actually. But what I want to know is who would you rather start or who would you rather roster rest of season in PPR? Side A is David Montgomery. Side B is Jahmyr Gibbs. What percentage of people said side A, David Montgomery? In this
28%.
28% locking it in. Joey, over or under your friend John Luke's guess of 28% here?
I think JL gave me a little bit of room on the overside. I think it's a tremendous guess. And I would just like to point out that I'm really glad we're talking about Detroit Lions on the show. And I think that's what everyone should remember, that I was pumping the most this offseason was how much I loved this Detroit Lions offense and nothing about Samaje Perine. Thank you.
Of course. That's what I
love that offense.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't love that offense?
We got the over from Joey on JL's guess of 28%. Bob,
I was going to put a ring on it though. Like I really loved it.
So it's like which side are we looking at here? David Montgomery.
So JL thinks 28% picked David Montgomery.
Like you don't remember even ever playing this game before, Bob.
I'm gonna take the more than
more than or equal to.
More. I'm gonna take the more than. But I mean, I hope it's not. I mean, I feel like this is just an attempt to trigger me because I'm so invested in Jahmyr Gibbs that y'all are just like
why do you think we asked you on the show?
Stuff in my face to just make me feel miserable that I didn't get what I saw the last 2 weeks, like every damn week of the season, which is how it should have been.
Oh, it's coming, Bob. Oh, it's coming. Well, we got 28% from John Luke, the over from Joey, and the above from Bob Harris.
More than.
The more than, above, greater than. We are above all else. Scampers says 21% of people are wrong. Andrea said 30%. Cody coming in with 37. Albert with 54. Scampers says 21%. Dame with 50. And Scampers says, sorry, Bob.
It's okay.
Well, the actual percentage of people that chose David Montgomery over Jahmyr Gibbs the rest of the season was 42%. John Luke, you were 14 percentage points away, so you already sneak in there with a point.
Nice.
Your two competitors will get 2 points for correctly picking the over-under on that one.
Those first
Meaning
round.
we got a close game, mostly because nobody did very well. JL, you have 5. Bob, you have 2. And Joey, you have 3. One poll can completely change the shape.
I think that was my path to success last time, is nobody did well. I think that's like the secret to my success.
Don't I get 2 points for being right?
Yes, you do. So, Joey, you have 4. JL has 5.
Don't I get more points for just being here?
Yeah, you do, Bob. I forgot about those Eagle Call points.
I know we're supposed to focus on the guests, but I want points. Thank you.
Before we get into round 2, let's hit some more of these questions that we got coming in. A reminder to everybody watching as well. Right after this, Joey and I will be live for Fantasy Football Office Hours on this YouTube channel. So just stick around and we will answer any and all of your questions we don't get to during the show today. But Jonathan wanted to know, in a redraft 12-team full PPR league, would you trade Lockett and JSN for Aaron Jones and Trey McBride. Currently has Waller at tight end. JL, I see you shaking your head no. This is no for you?
No, I'd keep the receivers. You can get more than Aaron Jones and Trey McBride.
Yeah.
Joey, it looks like you agree here.
Yeah, and Darren Waller's out this week, so you don't have him this week. So you will probably need Trey McBride this week.
He's hurt now.
Yeah. Bob, are you making this move or are you trying to get more for Lockett and JSN?
I do not like the Aaron Jones piece. I do like the Trey McBride piece, but I don't know that the value is that high. But you do have a great need. Has Hopkins, Olave, Palmer, Gibbs, Henderson. I'm probably, you can't play all these wide receivers. I mean,
No.
I would try to do a 1-for-1, and throw out one of those receivers and Aaron Jones to see if I could just do one of those receivers for Trey McBride, even if it was Lockett.
Yeah.
JSN for McBride should get it done.
That would be better. But
I mean, a fair thing here, but
that would be better.
No,
but I think people looking at, but if you look at, McBride's rise, I guess, again, there are questions about the quarterback that you might want to play up as you're making that deal. But his trajectory is pretty solid, and it was with Dobbs, so I'm not sure it's really great.
We'll have to see. Noah wanted to know if he should trade Derek Carr and McLaurin for Davante Adams right now. Has other quarterbacks like Dak, Watson, Baker, and then Kyler on IR. It's a lot of tumult with Davante Adams, but they've got a new show in town. You would think they're going to put some emphasis on their best player. You guys making this move?
Let me ask you, Noah, if this is super flex or is this super flex? Let us know in the comments. I guess we could just answer both ways here. I would be making this trade if it's 1 QB. Super flex.
It says 2 QB.
Says 2 QB?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 QB. So it's not even super flex. It's 2 quarterback.
Oh, okay. All right, let me reevaluate.
I'll still do it. Watson's practicing in full. You've got Baker, Dak, and Kyler coming back. Carr isn't a valuable asset in Superflex. He's just a starting body. And so I think you're capitalizing on a starter of a position in need and getting potentially a top 5 wide receiver at his lowest value in the last 3 years.
I'm not exactly worried about Davante Adams with Aiden O'Connell. I'm worried about Jacoby Myers, but not Adams. Adams is proof he's almost quarterback proof at this point. So
squeaky mouse gets the cheese, as Scott Fish says.
Squeaky mouse gets the cheese. One more question in here from Garrett before we get back into our game. Garrett wants to know if Dalton Kincaid is a long-term solution this season, or if Knox coming back will hurt his production. Joey, where do you land on the Dalton Kincaid talks? Can you trust him weekly?
I'm forgetting who had the chart, but they've basically been charting Kincaid's success and his usage this season. And the last 4 weeks, it's just going up, 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 up. And if the Bills want to win games, I think they keep Kincaid rolling, because earlier this season we were hearing that he's going to be like the slot option for the Buffalo Bills, and we didn't really see that at the beginning, but we're kind of seeing that now. He's getting more usage. I'm in on Kincaid rest of the season as a tight end.
Should have expected this. I mean, if you invested in Dalton Kincaid, this was, I know smart people named Bob Harris or others who talked about this early on. If you're investing in Kincaid, it's a bit of a slow burn, but by the end of the season, you're going to have a super playmaking threat. I think Trey McBride, except better and with a quarterback.
All right, well, guys, we're going to get into round 2 of our game here now. We got 3 new polls, and we're introducing a new mechanic. His name is Gregory. He's new to the field, but has extensive experience working on golf carts. We're hoping it translates well to the electric vehicle mechanic market. We also have a new rule that we're implementing in today's game. Instead of just over and under guesses now, instead of just above and below, instead of just more than or less than, you can choose way more than or way less than if you think your opponent's guess is more than 15 percentage points away. So it has to be 16 percentage points or more away, and then you're going to double the points that would be worth. That being said, this is a double or nothing mechanic. If you guess way higher than and your opponent was only, say, 14 percentage points away, you're going to get 0 points instead of the 4 that you would get if they are, in fact, that great distance away. Joey, you've got the first poll in round 2. Are you ready to get into it?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. What I want to know, Joey, is who would you rather roster rest of season? Side A is Brandon Ayuk. Side B is DeAndre Hopkins. What percentage of people said side A, Brandon Ayuk, in this poll?
DeAndre Hopkins caught some touchdowns last week. I still think Brandon Ayuk's going to win this. I like Brandon Ayuk a lot. I liked him coming into the season. I continue to like him. I'm not gonna put a ring on it though. But the 49ers, if they don't get their act right, they're not gonna put a ring on it either. I'm gonna go 59% Brandon Ayuk.
59% Brandon Ayuk from Joey Bob. Do you think the actual answer, the percentage of people that chose Ayuk over D-Hop, is over or under Joey's guess of 59%?
Slightly more than.
Just the slightly more than for Bob on this one. And John Luke, are you following Bob or are you forging your own path and taking one of the three other options?
70, it would be 74 if I took way over, right? 59 plus
75 15. Because it's non-inclusive.
Let's go with the over.
JL taking the over on this one. Thought about the way over.
All like Ayuk. All right.
Everybody on Ayuk. We got some people in the chat with guesses. Scampers coming in with 57%. DeBoris thinks it's 15%. Andrea with 80%. Albert with 72%. And Cody with 81%.
What up, Cody?
We do have some way over guesses numbers in there. The actual percentage of people that chose Brandon Ayuk over DeAndre Hopkins in this poll was 80%. It was 80% on the Brandon Ayuk side. The way over. What a hit, but it's all right because you guys are getting points anyways, and Joey is not. Bob, this is going to tie you with Joey, bringing you up to 4 points. John Luke, this is going to bring you up to 7. And Joey, you are staying put at 4, but this is still very much anybody's game. Cody, Andrea got it exactly right. Nice job. Woo!
Let's go.
You are the winner.
All right. Well, Bob, you ready for your next poll?
Yes.
Okay. Here is your next poll. Is Patrick Mahomes a top 2 dynasty quarterback? Side A is yes. Side B is no. What percentage of people said yes, he is a top 2 dynasty quarterback?
I'm expecting JL's poll to be is water wet after this one.
41%.
41% say yes, he is a top 2 dynasty quarterback. Locking it in?
Locking it in.
Locking it in at 41%.
Can I say more than or less than to this one as well? Like have 2 chances to score?
On your own guess. Just set yourself up for points.
Say it.
Yeah. John Luke, are you taking the over, under, way under, more or less, way more, way less, higher, lower, way higher, way lower, greater than, less than, way greater than, way less than? Just trying to get them all out there.
The number was 41?
41 is what I got written down.
I'll take the way over.
John Luke taking the way over here. Joey, what about you?
I was going to do it before JL said, but now I'm locked into doing it.
No, he's following me
today. Yep.
Joey following JL into
can't make his own decisions for himself.
That's not what's happening right now. That's it. Way under.
Okay. The chat's with you guys. 97% from Scampers, 93 from DeBoris, 92 from Sam, 99 from Dame. Cody thinks it's 99. Andrea with 90. Albert with 87. And Cody said actually 92, though. The actual percentage of people that chose Patrick Mahomes as a top 2 dynasty quarterback was, Andrea, go buy a lottery ticket. Exactly 90%. That is 2 in a row for Andrea. Exactly.
Like, don't people know there are other quarterbacks who are going to be playing for a long time?
No, they don't know that.
Is Patrick Mahomes not a top 2 dynasty quarterback for you, Bob?
I mean, yes. He's right there. There's like 3 or 4 that are probably you could have this discussion about. So I just thought maybe it would be a bigger mixture of that. I guess I'm out of touch with the people. So maybe I need to go out and get around a little more and see what the people really think.
Bob, I was surprised it was 90% because there was a time period 2 off seasons ago where Josh Allen had already overtaken Patrick Mahomes as the number 1. And that was after 1 off season from Patrick Mahomes. Like there's excitement around Anthony Richardson. There's excitement around Tua, around Trevor, around Justin Herbert, around Lamar Jackson. Like,
all those guys.
I'm with you that I thought it wouldn't be 90%.
I thought it would be more diluted. I thought a lot of people would still be on it, but I thought it would be not as like, I didn't think it would be like that. It was way over.
Andrea's response in here. Yes. Yes, I did.
Yes.
I have done it.
Like whatever success Andrea has at anything is like the least surprising thing. I've drafted with her. Don't do it, people.
Don't draft with her.
Man, she'll crush you.
DeBoer's and you're saying Andrea's counting cards. She just got the skill at this game, and I'm fired today. Before we get into our last poll before the final poll, so I guess you could call it our penultimate poll, we had a couple questions I wanted to hit here in the chat real quick. Za wants to know, yo gang, should I trade Pacheco and Dobbs for Howell? Or send picks and players for Fields or Murray? I need a quarterback. Lost Cousins. And I have Stroud and Heineke starting in a 10-team full PPR dynasty. First of all,
it did say it was 2 quarterback or super flex.
Yeah, super flex. So this is they're starting Heineke and Stroud. I don't have any problems with starting Heineke and Stroud this week. If you're just
in a 10-team league, I do.
You do?
In a 10-team, in a 12-team, I'm not so much.
You trading Pacheco and Dobbs for Howell, or is that too much for you?
That's too much for me.
It does look like dynasty, so I don't know if that changes your mind on Howell, gives him more value because he's young.
Less value
In dynasty.
Dynasty for sure.
Terrible, but probably true. I like Pacheco a lot this year. I don't know. It's hard for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't be making this trade. I'd go try and find if you need a quarterback, you target someone higher than Sam Howell. I mean, I could check
Sam Howell's been very good.
Schools. Yeah, I'm not buying it.
We got some Howell haters here. I like Sam Howell. I've starting him in quite a few leagues.
Good for you.
There's boom bust weeks.
Put a ring on it, like Joe said.
Howell has been a quarterback 1 in 5 of 8 games this season. Been top 7 in 3 of the last 4.
Pretty good. And it does seem to be against matchups that are a little bit predictable, right? Like especially through the first 4 or 5 weeks, it wasn't too tricky when to bench Sam Howell. He's not matchup proof, but he's a good starter.
The second part of this
he throws a lot. He throws a lot.
Joey, are you sending picks for Fields or Murray?
I'd kick the tires on sending picks to get Fields or Murray, honestly, just to see what you can get them for. Because if they do come back, you might be able to get them at a real good bargain right now. Like, is anybody not sending a 2nd-round pick at this point for Justin Fields? Like, is that
try it?
Oh, I would
get him for that. Like, I'm all for that.
Yeah, both those guys have way more long-term value than Sam Howell.
Mm-hmm. Sam in here has a question for us. Is in a must-win situation. So facing it's week 9. People are starting to have to buy wins to make sure they can make the playoffs. Would you trade Justin Jefferson and James Cook for Pollard and DK? Bob, are you making this move in a must-win week?
Yeah, I probably am. I mean, I'm, just the uncertainty around Jefferson. I'm not super high on Pollard, but I think, he and DK are fine. And James Cook, I have a blind spot for. So I guess that's it's not like Leonard Fournette concerns, just general, sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. I don't know. So I'll go ahead and do that. Yeah.
I think I'm with you. I think I'm making this move as well in here. One more question, and then we're going to get back into our game, the last 2 rounds. But a reminder to everybody watching, we are going to be live right after this at 4:05 p.m. Eastern time on this YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy. Myself and Joey Wright with the W in the middle of his chest, doing nothing but answering your questions. Saquon in here. What's up, Saquon? Welcome in.
What up?
He said, I need to start 2 PPR. 1 has to be a running back. Josh Downs, Darrell Henderson, Gus Edwards, and Drake London. John Luke, start 2 of those players. At least one of them has to be a running back.
Oh, man. All right. You're locking in Josh Downs. And then between Henderson and Gus Edwards, I'd probably lean Edwards.
I think I'm with you.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. That's the order.
Bob has the answer key, and that is the correct answer, John.
Mm-hmm.
Nailed it. All right. Well, guys, let's roll in to our
right
penultimate round. John Luke, this one is yours. You ready?
I'm ready.
Here's what I want to know. Which side would you prefer in a 12-team PPR dynasty league? Side A is Sam Laporta. Side B is Dallas Goedert plus Jameson Williams. What percentage of people chose the Sam Laporta side of this trade?
Oh, 12-team dynasty, 81%. 81%.
81%?
81%.
Locked in?
Locked in.
Locked in at 81%. Joey seems to be going through the full gambit of emotions here. What say you, Joseph?
Queen B.
I think he's exactly right. From
really
Joey, right?
How many points is a Queen B?
10. It's the same amount.
Queen B.
We got the double Queen B in here, baby.
And
JL
let's
with
check with Andrea. And
81%.
see
Oh,
if
we're hitting it today. We're hitting it today. I feel this, Bob. I'm so glad we get to do it together.
I need this.
Well, guys, I have not yet looked at the answer key, so there is no poker face going on my face. I copy and pasted the poll. I put it into the thing, and I have forgotten what the answer is entirely.
Oh my God.
We got some guesses in the chat. Mr. Scampers with 88%. DeBoris with 73. Cody
Andrea
says it's
say,
86%.
care about these other yo-yos.
Albert with 81%. Scampers
I love
hyped
yo-yos.
on the ground laughing with the double queen bee we got going on. Well, the actual percentage of people, it said Sam Laporta over Dallas Goedert and Jameson Williams was
81%.
84%.
Oh.
Such a great guess. And Bob and Joey, you were sniffing out that queen bee. He was so close to it. But JL, for being within 5, you are going to earn 5 points, giving you a pretty commanding lead going into that final round. The score is 16-8-4. Bob, you can overtake Joey by winning this last round. You can overtake Joey by even more by getting it exactly right. And Joey, you can win this game only by getting this exactly right on this last poll. Otherwise, JL has run away with it.
Has that ever been done before?
I don't know. We'll have to check with our
Yeah.
historian. The same historian that checked
Yes.
if Bob's ever won this game before. We'll have to check if anyone's ever done that on the final poll.
Yes.
Been done once.
Unicorn Fringe did it early on.
She did do it. Mr. Scampers in here with the wow. And Tim said, thank goodness. He's going to be so pissed if the queen bee hits whenever he's not on air.
He's punching a hole through his
Gonna hit one
drywall.
day.
All right. Well, we got one more poll left in this game. Get your pen and paper or cell phone or anything that you could write on ready. This one was a long one. So the question and the poll is split up into two things. I'm going to put the question up first, then the answer choices. We have the Dolphins play the Jets, Cowboys, and Ravens during the 2023 fantasy playoffs. How does that make you feel about the Dolphins' fantasy options? Side A is sell high. Side B is meh, they'll be fine. And side C is still league winners. What
What's the
percentage of
question?
people said sell high on the Dolphins because of their playoff schedule?
You show the original part?
Yes, I can. The Dolphins play the Jets, Cowboys, and Ravens during the 2023 fantasy playoffs. How does it make you feel about the Dolphins' fantasy options? Side A, sell high. Side B, meh, they'll be fine. Or side C, still league winners. While you guys are getting your answers down, I'm going to do a little dance
Make a little love. Get
tonight.
down tonight.
Now, Joey got to see my my Renaissance Festival outfit earlier.
Oh, no.
I-
If anyone
I
would like to
modeled it
also
for
see
him.
it, I have it on my OnlyFans site right now. It's only $6.99 a month.
And you
Use
only
the
have to
Brown
scroll
code
past
Eagle Scream.
about
You get
200 pictures of Joey's feet before you get to the picture of me in my Renaissance Festival outfit.
I've been to a Renaissance festival.
Nice. Did you wear an
I
outfit?
did not wear an outfit.
You were a time traveler.
I
at
went
the
as me.
Renaissance Festival.
I went as me.
Bob
Can
from
you go
the
back to
Renaissance.
the other options?
Yes, I can. They were sell high, meh, they'll be fine. And side C was still league winners.
Didn't answer on side A.
You know what I just realized? I just got the your laptop's about to die warning. And I looked and I was like, no, it's plugged. I never plugged the charger in. I just plugged it into my laptop.
You silly goose.
I know. What a buffoon.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay. Well, we got some answers in the chat. The guesses from the chat are as follows. Scammers with 15%. Tim says 0. Albert with 21. DeBoris with 82.47. Cody says 22%.
Andrea, that's
50%.
I don't feel good about my answer now.
Let's see your answers. John Luke with 21. Bob with 17.
Oh, Bob.
And what did you say, Joey?
14 on a picture of me and Bob.
14
Ah!
from Joey. 21, 17, and 14 from Joey. While the actual percentage of people that chose sell high in this poll was 16%. Bob, you are going to be the closest, off by 1, earning you 5 points, surpassing Joey for second place. And John Luke,
Aha!
you are our champion.
That's the best outcome that could have
With
happened.
a final score
No.
of 16-9 to 8. Joey, I will have you
About
know,
as good as it could have been for me.
this poll had a see results option, which I always remove. And with the see results, A had 14% of the vote.
Ah!
I did
I'm the
remove
winner!
see results because
I'm
that's
the
how
winner!
we do these polls.
I protest. I am the winner of this game. Thank you very much. It goes in the record books. If I'm not, it gets an asterisk for today.
Take it up with the
not
committee.
JL.
Bob, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come and play some games with us today. It is always a treat getting to pick your football brain.
It's always a pleasure joining you, fellows. I have a fantastic time. Each and every opportunity is wonderful. It helped that you sent me the space cake in advance, and I appreciate that.
And you'll definitely remember it next time.
I see the chat asking me to move my jacket to the L, and I was just going to do that for them. There you go, guys.
I'm just seeing this. I don't know if you can read this. Currently not. Oh, here we go.
Oh, there we go. What does it say? Fantasy football trade deadline coming up.
We saw that, Bob.
Tough decisions are made. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for us for now, but we will be back in 5 minutes answering any questions you have about sequins or week 9 for fantasy football. So stick around right here on the Front Yard Fantasy YouTube channel. Go follow our friend Bob on Twitter at Football Diehard. Check out his work at footballdiehards.com and on SiriusXM from 11 to 1 to get you ready right before kickoff. Bob, another big thanks, my friend. And everybody watching, thank you so much. We'll see y'all in about 5 minutes right here. Don't move unless you have to pee. Then do move. Is that Portuguese?
I was wrong.